while loop, do while loop, and difference between while loop and for loop. Hello everyone, welcome back. We already learned about for loops in previous parts. And in this part, we're going to talk about our while loop, which is another kind of loop that we can use to run our code repeatedly and not once. So how we're going to use our while loop is just using our while keyword right here. And here we need to have our parentheses, and after that our code block inside of our curly brace. And inside of these parentheses, we're going to have some condition. So the syntax is just as same as our if condition, which here we have simple condition and block of code. And if we have some condition here, this code inside of block is going to run until this condition is true. What I mean is, let's say here we have some variable which is 0 right here, and here in our condition we say if our variable is lower than 5, for example, we want this code run. And pay attention that here we can use some boolean values too. So if we use this 1, for example, it's going to start and run and never end. But here, let's say we have this comparison right here of I less than 5, and here we simply console log our variable right here. And if we run this, you know that this condition is always true. So it's going to run and never stop. As you see, it's going to run and doesn't stop. So what we do instead of this, we use I++ right here as same as our for loop. So it's going to run until this condition is true, but when our I is going to be number 5, this is not going to be true, and our while loop is going to be ended. And if we run now, you can see that we got printing 5 times our I variable, which is 0 at the first, and going to increment by 1 each time until it reaches the 5. And if we use this equal sign here, you can see that we're going to have our number 5 here too. And you can run any code that you want right here. And this is the times of loop or repeat that you have inside of your code. And pay attention that here, when we run our code, it's going to first look at this value and see if this condition is true or not, and then it's going to run this. But what if we want to run this at least one time and then check our condition? We can do that by using our do while loop. And what that is, as same as this, but we have our do right here at the first, and at the end we have this while right here, and then our condition. And what this is our code going to run this part and this block once before of checking our condition. And then again, it checks our condition, and if this is true, it's going to come back and rerun this part again. So if we run this, you can see that we got this result. But if this is some false value right here, and we run again, you can see we got our code had run first time, which our I is 0 in that. So let's say here we have our I to be number 3. Again, this is false. And now if we run, you pay attention that here it's going to print our number 3 right here, then increment it by 1, which is going to be 4. Again, this while is going to be false and go and continue off our code and not looping through this code. And now if we run, you can see that we got this 3 printing. But you might say, what is the difference between a for loop and while loop? You know that we have this for loop which we can use to get anything that we want, loop our code and rerun our code any number and how many times that we want. And then we have this while loop which is just similar to that. And what this while loop is basically this for loop, but the first creation of our variable is empty, and then this one is empty 2. So this has nothing right here and nothing right. This is just one condition right here, which if this is true, it's going to run through this code. And this is just as same as our while loop. And let's say here we have our I to be 0 right here in our for loop. And let's get rid of this I here. And here we have this I++. And if we want to have the same thing, the same rule of this for loop in our while loop, we can use some variable right here outside of our code block and give some value of 0 as same as this. Then our condition, which is I is less than 5 right here. And here at the end of our while loop, we have this I++. So this code right here is as same as this. But pay attention that in while we have another additional option of do while, which here we can run this code at least one and then come and check if we want to rerun this code or not. And you can use your while and for loop based on your own selection in different situations. And for the times that you need to run your code at least one time, you can use this do while loop. Please give a like and subscribe to catch next videos.